This is Kendall Bird, aka Greeshawn, and I'm checking in with TampaMystic on Industry's Most Wanted podcast. Baby, can I be a distraction? I know that there's a lot of stuff that could be about me. A little of your time is all I'm asking for. I know that all these other dudes ain't.
What's going on, man? It's your girl, TampaMystic, and we are live on the Industry's Most Wanted podcast. You dig? Listen, we got a dope artist coming through tonight. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you being here. Greeshawn, what's going on with you, bruh?
I'm straight. How are you? It took, like I said, me coming here, I was like, trying to get here on time. That's all.
No, you did your thing, man. I appreciate you. And I had the opportunity to check out some of your music. You got vibey music. Let me just say that first and foremost, and I'm having you introduce yourself. I like how you switch up your flows in your music. You kind of go from like an R&B to like rap a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was like, oh, that's dope because it's different than what we're hearing a lot of right now. But go ahead and give us that official introduction. Where you're from and what you got going on.
Okay, so it's kind of interesting. So I used to go by Kendall Bird, which was my government name, and then I switched to Greeshawn because I was just like, I kind of wanted like a Jay-Z kind of thing. Like, you know, his name is Sean Carter, but I wanted like, you know, separate entity. And then so I'm from Maryland originally, but I really started making music and taking that seriously when I moved to Ohio. So that's where I'm based at now, is Ohio.
What part of Ohio?
Toledo.
You in Toledo, okay. Yeah. Do you like it out there?
For me, it's cool. I mean, it's not, I'd say, the best place for music or like the arts. Obviously, aside from music, like I have my business, my brand.
Yeah.
And I want to get into acting and all that other stuff, photography and modeling stuff too. So it's just, in that aspect, no. But I'm a simple guy. I like to go to work, come home, and chill. I don't like to.
Are you introverted?
People say I'm not. But yeah, I definitely like my space.
Yeah,
like
understood. I call myself a social introvert because I love being home.
Yeah, my social battery will drain. Like, if I'm on a social setting, my anxiety will kick in, and I'll be able to like talk to people.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't tell that like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Absolutely, I feel you. I'm the same way. Like I honestly turned down going to a lot of events and different stuff because of the fact that I have like that social anxiety. Yeah. I just don't like being around a bunch of people I don't know for the simple fact that you don't know what type of energy is in that room. It does. 100%. So when did music become that passion for you?
Ooh, so honestly, like, shout out to my parents, but they put me on to all the good music, like Flowetry.
What you know about Flowetry?
Oh, come on. All you gotta do is say yes. Come on. Jill Scott.
Yeah.
Of course, like in rap and stuff, my dad listened to Jay-Z, of course, A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
He's an OG, but just letting me listen to all types of music. Like jazz is my favorite.
Is it? Okay,
yeah,
that's really
jazz.
dope. Yeah.
He always played jazz, so that was, and then gospel too.
Yeah.
But
so you tap into the gospel side and on the secular side. That's dope.
And see, that's the thing too with my music. Like I want to make a song or music in every genre just because I know everybody don't listen to rap, everybody don't listen to pop, everybody don't listen to, you know what I'm saying? So it's like 100%. I want to get my foot in everything.
Absolutely. I think in order to be like a mega superstar, you have to do that. You have to absolutely tap into other lanes. And like I said, I picked up on that instantly when I started checking out some of your music. I was like, oh, he like sings and raps and that is really dope. I think that really makes you stand out from a lot of the other artists out there. Because like as we were discussing before we came live is that, a lot of trap music is, heavy.
It's taking over.
It is. And I mean, I like it. But again, I'm an old head. I'm an OG. So I came up in the era where like in the 90s and early 2000s, like R&B was really prominent then.
Yeah. It was running.
You bringing it back?
I mean, listen, but R&B ain't dead though. Like,
no, it's not.
Tank, he's got his label that he's working on, and you got all these other R&B artists that are still like, R&B is not dead. It's just not popular. It's just not put in the forefront.
And I honestly think, and this is no shade to a lot of the R&B artists out there now, a lot of them, they're R&B, but they're not the R&B that I'm used to, like where they could really sing. Real soulful. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That type of R&B. That's what I fell in love with was that type of like where people could just really sing and they didn't need a lot of auto tunes and stuff like that.
And see, that's crazy too. Like I was talking, because I pick engineers' brains when I'm in the studio all the time. I'm like, is auto tune used in like every song? And he's like, to an extent. Like auto tune doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, auto-tune, like your voice is just pitch correction.
Yeah, absolutely.
People don't understand that.
Right.
To where like, okay, an R&B singer would be like, yeah, no, don't put no auto-tune on my vocals, but it's definitely needed. It's not like trying to take away from your singing voice. It adds to it.
Absolutely. It just makes it more appealing to the ear when someone listens to it. Like, someone who's an average everyday person listening to it is not going to be like, oh my God, what's that? They're not going to even know it's there.
Right.
Just makes it a little more easy on the ear per se.
And see, that's the thing too. Like, obviously, the car that I got now, I just listen to the radio, and I just, it's a pain. I turn it off sometimes because I'm like, it's the same songs, and some of them I vibe to it, but then I'm like, all right, like, where's the soul?
Right.
Because I'm such a, like, growing up on all that soul music, like the 70s, Marvin Gaye, all them OGs. Like, and then one of my homies, he's like, you know, you got a cassette thing in your car. Like, it's that old. And I was like, what? And he showed me how it worked. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm about to put Aaliyah in there. I'm about to put all these, like, people that, like, I grew up on just because, like, listening to music now kind of just takes away that, like, feeling of, like,
I agree.
You know?
Listen, I totally agree. Like I said, you know, and I even remember the days of when I was in my early 20s and we used to go to the club. They would always end the night off playing the slow jams and people get out there and dance. They don't do that kind of stuff no more. Nah. We used to look forward to that. We'd be scouting out who we going to dance with at the end of the night.
All the dances and stuff is just like everybody just moving too much. Like, just slow down, keep it simple.
Absolutely. Now they're more concerned about sections and bottles. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody even goes in there to, like, just have a good time. It's like, who has the biggest section and the most bottles and stuff. Like, that's corny to me. Right. It's a waste of money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So so it sounds like you grew up around music. Absolutely. You know?
Sure. And then I grew up, of course, music. I was like, dang, I'll probably do it at some point. But I was playing football. So growing up, that was where all my time was spent. Okay. So it's like, you know, once I told my dad and my mom, I was like, I don't want to play football no more. I want to do music. Oh, it was like, oh, nah. Like, all the money we invested, all the time we invested, like they was not, like, supportive with it. And obviously, over time, they just had to understand, like, that was just me making one of my first decisions of, like, being self-sufficient and, like, making decisions on my own. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, blazing my own path in a sense. So, like, obviously, now they a little bit cool. But they was not. When I told them, I was like, because I was on full scholarship and stuff too.
Oh, wow.
So that's all they really cared about was like, you get a free education and then, you know, you get to play football. That's what you enjoy doing. But they was like, you let that go. And especially, like, as a black man, it's just like, you know, it's hard to come by.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But they're really proud of you now. Yeah, and they were proud of you. They've probably always been proud of you. But
disappointment, because they, you know, they expect a certain expectation from you. And, you know, obviously they got to just – because, you know, OGs, I'm not going to say you because y'all, you know what I'm saying, I ain't going to – but you get stuck in your ways and you be stubborn and you never want to, like, invite change.
Let me tell you something. This is the discussion that he and I have talked about. Fortunately, I'm 48, and I'll discuss it all day. A lot of women, as they want to lie about their age. I'm 48. I just missed that era because I've got friends who are just a couple years older than me, and they don't they like look at me sideways when they see what I do because I'm around a lot of young people. Right. I said, that's what keeps me young. Right. I had my son at 19. I missed that, thank God, that era of the OGs where they're stuck in their ways and you can't, it's either their way or the highway.
Right. And see, that's the thing too, like when I came into making music, it was the SoundCloud era too, so it was like every time I tried to push my music to somebody or give it to them, they'd be like, "Oh, you're just another rapper," and I'm like, "No." Like, you know, I of course enjoy the fusion of them two, like putting rap and singing together. I feel like they just work well.
Agree.
They complement each other very well, obviously. But then like I didn't really want to consider a rapper a rap anyway, because just like that realm is very like. They're judgmental.
And you don't want to box yourself in. Yeah, it is.
Like, you know, like I said, the OGs stuck in their ways. Like, it's hard to get approval from them.
100%. They some of these OGs, like, they really need to be helping the youngins out. Yeah. And I think that's why, like, with Bigger Rankin, that's why he's so relevant in this business, because majority of the people he works with are these youngins. You know, he be showing them the way through this music business. Taking it back, how did you discover you could sing?
So... Don't let anything fool you. I don't think I can sing. I can hold a tune. But I feel like, you know, when you grow up, you just like, you know, singing songs and stuff. So I'm not going to name no names. But I tried to like serenade a girl. Obviously, I didn't even know what serenade was at the time. I was in like middle school. I tried to serenade a girl. And she was like, No,
That's not it.
Don't ever do that again. And I was like, crushed. 'Cause I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm not Chris Brown, but you should at least like, thought that counts. And then from that day on, I was just like, never again. So I just obviously just kept working on it. Obviously your voice is an instrument, so you have to keep fine tuning.
Oh yeah, we be talking about that.
You find your pocket. So like my voice is very untrained and raw. So like I can hit really high notes or go to a certain part or like, but it just depends on the day.
What you gonna do for us? You gonna sing something?
No, not today.
Not today.
So
okay.
I gave a little. But
that sounded good to me.
Yeah, no, not today.
We're going to keep it right there. No pressure, no pressure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because that's something I want to start incorporating. I had posted on my story. I think you may have seen that.
I know what he's talking about. And I was like, all right, that's what I was looking forward to. I was like, all right, I'm about to sing. And then I'm like, all right, well, if I go up there and make a fool of myself.
What we could do is after this,
the weather.
we could do, it is the weather.
It's the weather, because like I be good in the morning and I wake up. And then, of course, like traveling and stuff, but just the weather's been so wishy-washy. Like being in Ohio, it was just like 60 degrees, and now it's like 70, 60.
Yeah.
And just like, it just messes up my sinuses and everything. So
Me too.
Like, come on,
I know.
Get it together.
Trust me. He was just saying that when we went outside talking about it's like pollen-y out there.
Yeah.
It clogs you up and stuff. It's not good.
Yeah.
So what brought you, you went from, where did you say you was from originally? Maryland. So you moved from Maryland to Ohio. Was that because your family decided to move there? No. What took you there? A girl?
Yeah. So at that time I was like 18, so I was kind of coming into like that maturation of like, okay, I know I'm under your roof, but like I have a voice and an opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Of course, in that household, you grow up as like, you say anything, it's kind of like defensive.
Yeah.
Or you're not respecting their authority in a sense.
Yeah.
So like, there was kind of pushback with that and a little bit of toxicity to where it was like, all right, I got to go.
Yeah.
And then of course, Shorty, my ex at the time, she was from Ohio, but I met her in Maryland.
Okay.
And she moved back home, and then I moved back home from when I was playing football, and then they was just like, you can come stay here, because of course it was, just to get away from that. So it's a blessing and a curse.
But I think at that age, you're not intended to stay in a long-term relationship. I'm not saying it can't work, but I'm just saying if you're 18, 19, 20, like, do you really think the person you know at that time is who you want to spend the entire rest of your life with? Like, you got to get out here and, and explore a little bit and get all the fun and the dating out of your system. You know what I'm saying?
You got to understand yourself, too, obviously.
Of course.
You grow and mature and develop over time. And, obviously pass, part ways and stuff.
Absolutely.
But it's so crazy because, like, you'll see people like I got a guy that I work with. He married his wife, he married his wife at 18.
Yeah.
And they've been living together. And I'm like.
It works for some people.
And, I mean, we was knowing each other since middle school. So I'm like, oh, this is a fairy tale in heaven.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, it's just over time things just change.
They do.
You have to,
We're not the same person we were then.
Yeah.
Like I definitely know I'm not the same person anymore. That just comes with maturity and growth. So, do you do music full time now?
So no. So I do have a day job still. But I'm trying to, obviously, that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Is just breaking from that.
It is.
So I do have a day job, and then I got my brand that I'm working on.
I like that.
Yep. And then, so I'm, doing stuff with that, getting my entrepreneurship on.
Yeah.
And then with music. So, but I really just want to have those two in the forefront. And then I also model and then want to do acting and stuff like that. That's going to be like the extra side stuff. But I just want to get into the arts as a whole.
Yeah.
But obviously, I got to branch out and get to where
it'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll happen, and everybody's timing is different.
Yeah.
Some people it happens for them when they're 21. Some people it takes them to their 40. It's okay.
And, it's crazy with that, too, is like there's so many people that obviously is coming to light now that didn't get in the scene until they're 30, 40. What do they call it? Oh, my goodness. Oh, Griselda.
Yeah.
They're all ancient. Not ancient, sorry.
Yeah.
but they OGs, and you would think, like, how they just got into the limelight. Lucky Day's 37.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, you cannot put an age on it. Like, I didn't get involved in this industry until I was, like, late 30s because I was a single mom.
Right.
My son was my main priority.
Right.
You know, and I started doing some stuff while he was like, you know, in his last years of high school. But once he moved out is when I went full force because I'm like, I got to raise my son. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, everybody's a little different.
Yeah.
You know?
And see, that's the thing with me. I just feel like time is fleeting. Like I'm 24. You got plenty of time. Is moving. Oh my gosh. Like people always told me, yeah, when you turn 25, that's when
it does speed up.
And I'm like, chill out. Like this one dude that's under me that I supervise, he's 20 and he calls me Unc. He be like, and I'm like,
that is so funny.
And then so it comes to
I'm sorry. That's hilarious because you're like, dang, I'm only 24. I am not your uncle.
I'm like, and then he'll be like, yeah, well, I was born in 2002. And I'm like, that is crazy. Or 2000. I'm like, all right. But just
oh, God.
And then I always ask people, I'm like, okay, how old do you think I am? And they'd be like, oh, like 30 or 27, 28. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, because if I have the beard, I look old, and if I cut the beard, I look old. I just have a mature looking face.
Yeah, I'll say it's the facial hair.
So it's just, oh, well, without it too, they'd be like, oh, you still look like a baby face. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't like it. Or every woman would be like, oh, you got kids? I'm like, no. Do you know something I don't know? But no.
Right.
But
I mean, yeah, not every man your age has kids yet. That's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're still at a point where you're really figuring everything out where you want to go in life, and you got time. That way, if you do want to make some changes along the way, you're still young enough to do that. 100% and start over, because really, like, to be honest, like, I think my best years to date are now my 30s and 40s. Like my 20s, I was like, still kind of all over the place. What do I want to do? And, you know, trying to raise my son. And, you know, but once I hit my 30s, I was more established.
Everything, the ball started
rolling. Yeah, most definitely. So, you know, you got plenty of time. So what is the music scene like out in your city for independent artists that are coming up in this business?
So Ohio, I mean, there's talented people from Ohio, like Trippie Redd's from Ohio.
Yeah.
Bow Wow's from Ohio.
You're from Ohio. Well, you're from
Maryland. Oh, but Maryland,
you kind of from there now.
Maryland, you got, you know, like Wale, you got Rico Nasty, you got Corday, you got Shy Glizzy, you got, you know, an assortment of people from like from places I've been from.
Yeah.
But obviously, music is so saturated, like everybody wants to do it.
Right.
And then with the digital age too, it's like kind of like you don't know how to navigate it.
Right.
You got to mess up. You got to like figure out what works, what doesn't.
Absolutely. You're right.
But obviously, that's like you said, there's that time to be like, okay, I'm 24 now. I've done all of this, and I still got time to do all of this.
That's right.
Until, you know what I'm saying, you get to a point of like, okay, I know this is not going to benefit me. I know this could possibly benefit me, but you know, obviously you take the risk regardless.
Right. Because life, period, is about taking risk. You just don't know what's going to work and what's not unless you go out and just do it.
See, that's where
you can't try it. You have to actually apply yourself and do it. Because if you just try, it's not going to work.
Right.
You have to.
With intention.
You have to do it with intention of thinking, this is it for me. Mm-hmm. Then if it doesn't work out, cool, you move on to something else. Mm-hmm. But it's like you have to put your full effort into it before you can actually say, no, this didn't work for me.
Right. And see, that's the thing, too. It was kind of like, no disrespect, but like, you know, that transition of like newness of, you know, being with this person for so long and then being without them, it was kind of like, all right, well, am I going to let that like put me down or ruin me, or am I going to like put the battery in my back to be like, okay, now you have to do things, you have to try.
Yeah,
like it's literally on you. I mean, it's always on you. You have your own life, but like it's literally just on you. Like if you want to do something,
this is your life. Living it on your terms.
Yeah.
How, not to get too personal, but how long have you been out of that relationship?
Couple months.
Fairly new.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, speaking from someone who has been I was in a 12-year relationship before him, and then I took 8 years of not dating at all, just doing me.
Right.
That past one is almost like it didn't even exist now.
That's the thing too. It's like, you know, I don't want to forget it because they're obviously
you get stuff from it.
Yeah, but obviously, if it's not evident, then you kind of got to let it go.
Trust me, as time goes on, it's not even going to be like no daily thing that even crosses your mind, especially because you don't have kids together. You know what I'm saying? Without them kids being there and you start getting involved in other stuff, I promise you in 5 years from now, it's going to be almost like it didn't even happen. Like, you'll remember it, but it's like, it'll be easier to just, boom, you young, you got plenty of time. I'm talking to you like you're my son.
Perspective, I mean, whoever's looking at this, I am 24 years old. I am not 30. Not nowhere near close.
He's not no one's unc.
25 in October, so we still got a couple more months. So just slow down.
You say he only 4 years younger than me, calling me unc.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna call you unc from now on. I'm like,
let's not call me unc.
Come on. And then just everybody's like, oh, you got a kid? No.
So, with your music, you have a unique sound for sure. I could definitely attest to that because, like I said, took the time to check out some of your music. Where do you want to go with your music? Like, do you aspire to, potentially start your own label, sign yourself, potentially sign with someone else? Talk to us about that.
Obviously, I'm still ignorant to a lot.
Yeah, you're learning.
There's so many things that I still need to, like, gain knowledge of, but one of my goals was like, okay, I want to get signed to a label. Like, that's like, going to the playing college football and be like, okay, I want to go to the league. That's like your
right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's your stamp,
right? But then as I'm getting older and things are becoming more independent. I'm like, okay, it's a little bit more tedious.
Yeah.
But obviously the rewards, like people really kind of don't like Russ because he's kind of a little bit arrogant with it, but I'm like, he's done everything on his own accord.
We were talking about him on the drive here. I promise you.
You can't discredit the work ethic and just what his intentions was. He's like, I don't want anybody to have reins over this but me.
100%.
Yeah.
I swear, we just were talking about him on the drive here because of exactly what you're saying.
So now, obviously, with label talks and stuff like that, money talks, I guess. But obviously, I want to just make sure that my integrity isn't taken away. Obviously, the industry wants to have an image or sets an image for you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to stick true to me anyway. So that's what, of course, a lot of people that do know me, they be like, you've always been who you are. And that's why, of course, they like me or gravitate to me.
Yeah. I mean, doing sign yourself in maybe more of a partnership would be good for you. I feel like if an independent artist, if they're not if they're creating their own buzz, they don't necessarily need that label unless they're like.
It could be just like
they need the financial backing.
Yeah. Or like outsourcing or publishing, like just something like yeah, you just work out something like, okay, this is what you can do for me and so forth and so on. Obviously, like I said, I'm still figuring all that out.
Yeah.
And of course, not trying to lose my sanity.
Understood. So are you going to go back to Maryland or are you going to stay in Ohio?
So
you haven't figured that out yet?
No, I got a couple months. Because I was talking to my boy, because he just moved from Ohio to Atlanta last year. And I was telling him, I was like, how do you like it and everything? He's like, it's cool. Obviously this is the hub.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just at Houston before I came here, and I was talking to the guy that I was working with out there. He was from Miami. He moved to, Dallas. He moved to Dallas. And I was like, why did you leave Miami to go to Dallas? And he's like, the music scene ain't really popping. It's more so the clubs. And that's where it's just like, for me, it's like, okay, where are the music scenes? California, New York, and Atlanta.
Yeah. You want somewhere where there's opportunity.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, obviously, that's why I'm kind of just traveling to each place, trying to see what the feels are.
Yeah.
Get a feel for it, and then obviously make my decision at some point. My parents want me to move back because obviously,
Of course. You're still their baby. I get it.
Listen. It's so interesting how we're kind of going off of music, but just like how parents don't acknowledge things.
Yeah.
Like they think that they did all they could, which they probably did in their time, but like really like not like understand that they didn't like probably raise you the right way. Or it's not easy to raise a child. Obviously I don't have one.
Right.
But like just understanding like, okay, I may have messed up here or like not have done things here.
100%.
Acknowledge that because it's like they think they did nothing. And I'm like, and that's where like I needed that space from them because it's just like I have to love y'all from a distance.
Yeah.
Like being my own person.
Yes.
It's like, I couldn't let them take like that was the first like, okay, I have to break the chain.
Yeah, but you're a man now.
Yeah.
You're not a boy anymore. You're a man. So it's like now you have to live life on your terms.
Right.
You could still go visit them. Obviously, pick up the phone, call them.
I haven't, which is my fault, I guess. People told me, like, go see your parents. And obviously it affects me too, because it's like, okay, I'm starting to live life on my own and do that. Obviously I'll have to do that when they're gone and stuff like that. I'll have to cope with that. But it's also like, it's eating at me because I'm like, dang, they getting older, I'm getting older.
Yeah.
But obviously that time away, I'm like missing out on. And then my nieces and nephews too, like they've been growing up, and I'm like, okay, I was there from when they was born, and then I like kind of like left. Like, so they kind of have like somewhat memory of me, but it's like I'm not like.
But don't beat yourself up over it.
Yeah.
You know, don't, because I've been here for 10 years and I rarely get back home because I'm so busy here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, then the year before last, my mom passed, and I like really kind of felt bad because I wasn't there in her last moments. But I was like, guilty. Yes, I did. And I was like, I can't beat myself up because I'm a grown woman.
And you was doing what you
was And I know that in her mind, she wasn't like feeling some type of way.
Oh, like she don't care about
me. Exactly. Because me and my dad, we talk every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I make sure I keep that line of communication open. We just can't travel all the time. We got work to do. You know what I'm saying? We got stuff going on.
It's just, the world be turning still.
Absolutely. We still got to keep it moving. So what's the most recent song that you put out?
So I just dropped a 2-pack EP. One of the songs I sent to you, Distraction, and then the other one was a song about her. I don't know if we'll be able to play it while we're on here, but I want y'all both to listen to. You've heard Distraction, I'm sure. I don't know if you've heard Distraction.
I know he has not heard it, but I'll definitely play it.
But I want y'all to listen to both songs.
Okay.
Well, you've already heard Distraction, but I want y'all to listen to the other song too. But just like, and I also want you to listen to this like R&B-ish song, because it's like it gives that nostalgic feeling of like the olden times. So I definitely want you to listen to that one as well before we leave.
Most definitely. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Listen, I know you have a lot going on. You know, what brought you out here to the A? I'm grateful that you're here with me. You got a friend out here. Do you have other stuff going on while you're out here?
So, yeah, I got... not surprisingly, but thankfully I have people down here. Like I have my friend Omelo, who I'm staying with. He does music.
Okay.
And then I have a couple other people too that are down here that I can like network with, and like, actually like, it's been remote. So I can actually like see them and like talk to them and like get that relationship. Obviously we've been talking through the phone. I hate it. I'm old school. I'm trying to see you. Like FaceTime is not even enough for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, like, being able to just, like, be in people's presences.
Of course, to feel their energy.
Yeah. And you feel like, I feel like it's solidified right there.
I agree. Absolutely. With your people that you're close to.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
But
so, like we said earlier on, with the people we don't know, we don't want to be close to them.
And see, that's the thing, too. Like, I'm only here till Saturday morning. I was like, obviously, with these are, like, quick business trips. I'm here doing this, doing that. Because I still obviously got to go back home and still do the footwork and everything.
Yeah.
But... I want to do everything.
Yeah.
But
so let's talk about a couple of the other things. I heard you mention that, modeling.
Yeah.
Also film.
Yeah, like acting and stuff.
So is that something you already have tapped into?
Yeah, so I kind of got into like being a model just because like I wanted to feel more self-confident about myself. Of course, yeah. And such like that. So that was where that became a thing. And then acting, I was like, who doesn't want to be an actor? Like you watch all these child actors and stars, like you like, oh, that's what I want to be that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those things came into play there, and then obviously me growing up is like, okay, I could do that. So I was in a short film. I was acting, obviously. I was, what do you call it? Like a bad guy.
Like a villain? You was the villain?
Yeah, I was a bad guy. I was a bully, low key. And then obviously, I don't know if you've seen any of my music videos, but I definitely want to show you those too. Just because I always want to tell a story.
Yeah.
With everything I do, I want everything to be like
people understand it more when it has like a storyline behind it.
Yeah.
So with modeling, is it something like runway type modeling or just photo shoots, like modeling clothes?
Listen, I'll do it all.
Yeah.
It don't matter to me. Just being in the arts in general. I just feel like obviously it's very inconsistent and very like spontaneous. Like you'd be like, okay, on call this, or like you kind of have to go to the work, or like you have to find it yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like it's rewarding once you get to those.
Absolutely.
Like I have a couple friends that have brands and clothing stuff, and I was just like, oh, they're in New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? That's dope.
Yeah, that is really dope. It's good brand exposure for yourself.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, I'm seeing my peers do it.
Yeah.
I could do it too.
Of course you
It's
can.
just like you said, everybody got their own little timeline.
Yeah.
Time too fast, but
we have to trust the process and not rush the process. Yeah. And then with film, there's so much more longevity in film.
And see, that's the thing too, where most artists or rappers transition to.
They do.
It's an easy segue.
Athletes, they all transition into film, and then they're acting until they're 90.
And that's because that's the longevity. You can be in so many films. You don't have to be an action star. You could be, you could just be sitting there and just be like, and that's all you say.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. So you said you've done a short film already?
Yeah.
How was that experience for you? What's the title of it?
It's cold. I don't remember. I ain't gonna lie. It was a minute ago. It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was cold.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he's like, all right, we're gonna shoot this scene. So basically, we like posted up on the street, and then we see the guy walking down, and I'm like, obviously the leader, and we see him, and we're just like, who's this guy, blah 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 blah, and then we like checking him in a sense, and then we like chasing after him and stuff, and I'm just like, it was cold. I'm like, I couldn't imagine. I mean, obviously being on sets for X amount of time and going through all of that, like it is not. I applaud all of them. Listen,
especially some of these series that are coming out that are like 5 seasons long.
They shoot back to back. They shoot this season. They already shooting the next one just so.
And each episode is a good 45 minutes. So 2 episodes is equivalent to 1 movie. Yeah. And if you're doing 10 episodes per season times 5 seasons, that's a lot of acting. Are you ready for that?
Oh yeah, I can do it. If I don't have to work for nobody else. I mean, essentially I'm working for somebody else, but like. Right. If I'm in the arts, I'll for sure be like, I'm down.
You have a lot more time on your hands because when you still have to work a full-time job, having work-life balance becomes difficult because if you're in a relationship and you got to go to work for 8 hours a day and then you still trying to pursue what you want to do, it's tough.
You got to sacrifice.
Yeah, you do.
And you're just like, okay, well, I kind of want to sacrifice everything because it's like you don't really get that fulfillment because there's something that you're not able to do, and of course that affects you.
Yeah.
Like, man, something's got to get cut.
Absolutely.
Got to make those decisions.
Most definitely. So what's the very next move for you? We still early on 2023, man. Like, what are some of the things that we can catch from you maybe in the next, 6 to 12 months?
So this year I kind of wanted to obviously visit different places and just put my music out to the bigger cities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I've had radio play in Atlanta before and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to just really put it in the forefront. I want it in people's ears.
Yeah.
Like I want to like get everybody listening to it. So that's what this year is really just about, is like traveling places, doing interviews, networking with people, seeing what opportunities are there, and just doing the whole tour.
You're doing the right thing. Yeah. As an artist, if you ever want to get discovered, you got to put yourself out there. You got to consistently release music.
Right, yeah.
We had this discussion. You can't just put music out once a year. You got to consistently put music out, and you have to put yourself out there if you want to get discovered.
Yeah, it's so nuts. So when I started in 2018, like you can see, I'll show you when we out of here, but from 2018, I was dropping a song like 1 or 2 songs every month.
Yeah.
And because that first year, I was just like, okay, I'm going to make all this music, and I just want to see what people listen to, what people gravitate
100%.
to. I was making anything and everything, just trying to see what people will listen
to.
And it was like, obviously, consistency and saturation kind of, you have to have that balance.
You have to have a balance,
I was dropping so much.
You don't want to overdo it.
Right, and then they'd be like, oh, well,
I'm still getting to know this song. Yeah.
So it becomes overwhelming, and they'll turn away from it because they're just like, oh, I've consumed too much of you.
Right. Understood. Yeah, you have to find that perfect balance for sure. Because like you said, you want to test out different types of music to see what people are gravitating to or what they're resonating with. Right. So with that being said, out of all the songs that you put out, what would you say has been the main song that people really been attracted to?
So I would say they're more on my OG, my Kendall Bird one, but people love this song called Flea. I'll play that for y'all. And then I Got Soul, it's more like a poppy song. But I think people really enjoy like my pop, or they consider me a pop artist, which I'm like, pop is universal. Like I'll take that. Like, you know, people, I'd rather much be well known overseas than here, because I mean, obviously there's not much love here.
Yeah, you're right.
It's only okay, the trap, and then, you know, Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
that's it. That's literally it. Everything else is kind of just tossed up there, like, you know, in the basket. But that's also, like, I don't want to put myself in the box, so that's why I'm trying to get in everything too.
Absolutely. Because it's a big world out there. Yeah. And as you mentioned earlier on, not everybody likes rap music.
Yeah.
Some people prefer EDM, or some might like more pop, or they might like, you know, whatever other genres are out there.
Yeah.
Gospel and, you know,
R&B.
country. You know, there's so many different lanes that you can take. Have you been collabing with other artists?
Oh, yeah, I have. So one of the artists that, so the guy that I'm staying with, Omelo, it's funny. We met at a studio session, and that's the only time I've ever met him.
Oh.
Like, we never did music together, but, like, we were still connected in a sense. So I was like, you know, when I asked him, I was like, hey, man, I'm coming to Atlanta, like, could I, like, crash on your couch?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, well, I would think we would have to, like, go through some things or, like, have a better rapport, but obviously just, you know, you just treat people a certain way, and obviously, you know.
A closed mouth don't get fed. You had to shoot your shot, bro. Could I crash on your couch? Yeah, cool. Come on.
And then, so I haven't collabed with him, but I've collabed with a couple people. And see, that's the thing too. It's so hard to, because it's like, I take it seriously, so it's like people aren't on that same plane with me.
Yeah.
So, like, if I reach out to somebody and I'm like, hey, you know, I want to do a song. Obviously, people have their own lives, things going on.
Of course.
Sometimes I be, you know, inconsistent and stuff too, but I always try to communicate that.
Yeah.
But if I reach out to someone, I'm like, hey, I'm trying to do this song. I ask them to be, I would handle my part, and then, like, nothing. And then I'll be like, all right, like.
Yeah, we know that all too well.
Yeah. So it's just, like, it's hard for me to really, like, do that. Because I'm like, I want people to take it serious, just as serious as I do. And I know a lot of people don't.
No, you're right. They have to match your energy. They have to be willing to put a budget behind it.
Yeah.
Because you got to put a marketing campaign behind it. You shouldn't be responsible for that. You got to put money out to get a video done together. Yeah. You know, if they're not willing to do all those things, then you don't need to do a record with that person.
Man, so not to talk about him because we still cool, but man, I had one instance where I was shooting a video with my music friend, and he ain't want to pay.
Yeah.
Like, his half. So I'm like, I paid my half, and I'm like, bro, like, we discussed this.
Yeah.
I'm like, and he was like, so obviously I handled it, but I was like, you don't do that. You don't.
He laughing because yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Cause so his issue was that he didn't get the video, or he didn't, like, wasn't in the conversations of things, and I was kind of like, well, it's my song,
right?
And you're a part of it, and obviously, like, you know, I guess in a sense he should have been a part of it, but I was like, bro, that don't mean, like, like, you feel a certain way to be like, okay, I'm just not gonna pay it all. I'm like, bro, you just left me in a bad spot. Man, so that's why I'm just like, come on.
Just know that you're not the only person who's encountered that.
I gotta know that we're both invested. That's all. Like,
Facts.
I will put all the money, all the effort, all the time into anything, but I just need that reciprocation.
No, you're absolutely right, man. Ooh. Well, listen, we're going to get up out of here so we can check out some of your music. Okay. Before we do that, man, tell everybody where they can follow you and keep up with you.
Okay, so Instagram, you can find me at GREESHWN. Facebook is just Greeshawn King, so GREESHAWNKING on Facebook, and then YouTube. Oh, you'll just have to search my name, Kendall Bird, and as well as Greeshawn. But if you go to my Instagram, I have the links for everything, music videos, my merch, everything. So
that's dope, man. Yeah, so your merch,
brand,
yeah, what's the name of it?
It's Heartless.
Stand up just slightly so they can see it on camera here. There you go. Yeah. That's dope.
So I'm gonna just talk about that real quick. And
then, of course. No, you good.
So essentially, when I moved here, I was lost.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I let go of football, and I was like, okay, I want to do music, but I was still, like, trying to find my way.
Yeah.
And so, in my mind, I realized, like, I mean, everybody kind of gets in the sense, too, like, I don't want to live the American dream. I don't want to work all these years and not be able to, like, do what I wanted to do.
100%.
Or live the life that, you know what I'm saying? Whether if I ended broke, or, you know what I'm saying, I still tried, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I still obviously took that risk, and whatever reward I get, I knew in my heart that I did what I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
Whatever came
to the best of your ability.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I came up with the idea and I had some mock-ups and stuff. And then, like, you know, obviously, same thing with music. When I put it out there, I was just like, I just want to see if people would, like, take it in.
Yeah.
And so with music, they was like, okay, people listen to it, liking it. So I was like, all right, that got me the confidence to put it out more. And then with this, people were inquiring about it, people actually wearing it and, like, you know, putting it on to other people. I'm just like, that means more to me than anything. I'm like, you know, I could just give it all away.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to make no money, but just seeing somebody
wearing it. Absolutely.
You know
and it's the thing about when it comes to merch coming from an independent artist or anybody, you have to put yourself in the consumer shoes. Would you wear that if it was somebody else's brand? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, we discussed this, you know, respectfully, I don't necessarily want to walk around with a rapper's name on me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
See,
you know, but that I would absolutely rock that. Mm-hmm. That's dope.
Because, I mean, it's neutral. It has no real, it can mean something to different people.
Facts.
Like, people can see it and be like, okay, it inspires me to, you know, do well in school, or it inspires me, you know, it could be, you know, or push them to do anything.
I absolutely agree. That's dope, man. Keep pushing. I know you got a lot of people that are supporting you that are going to be watching this. Who do you want to shout out to?
Shout out mom. Shout out dad. Love y'all. Shout out to my dude on Mello out here. You know. Shout out to Jeremy Tommy. He's also an artist out here.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody. I mean, anybody that, you know, listens to my music and supports me, just shout out to everybody, because, you know, there's not a lot of love in the world at all. People don't never really want to, you know, show people that they are interested, and I don't get why. Like, why won't you tell somebody, oh, I'm proud of you, or I like this? Like, what is that? Like, holding your, what do we?
Because they have pride.
But, yeah.
People have big egos and big pride, and they will not tell you that because they honestly don't want you to see you doing better than them.
And see, that's the thing. I made a post about this. My parents, both of them, told me that they proud of me separately.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's a milestone.
Yeah.
Like both my parents said they're proud of me. Oh, can't tell me nothing.
You can't tell. Yeah, that's all you need to hear.
I ain't never hear that.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I must
that's
be
so
doing
beautiful.
something right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's dope, man. Last but not least, we are live on the Industry's Most Wanted podcast, right?
Industry's
Period.
Most Wanted.
Go ahead and let everybody in the world know what makes you the industry's most wanted.
I just feel like, you know, I'm who I am, and I'll always be that way. And I feel like that's why I'm the industry's most wanted. I'll never change, and I'll always put out what is best for me. And I feel like will resonate with other people, because, you know, music has to relate to somebody. I feel like that's what music is made for. And that's where I also have this saying, more than music is therapy, because that's essentially what music is.
Yeah.
Whether you listen to it like, okay, if it's trap, but it's like the therapy of like, okay, you ride around town, or like you listen to something.
Working out, whatever.
Yeah, it gives you it evokes something from you.
Absolutely.
So that's what,
Period.
That's what most wanted.
I appreciate you being here. Give me some
you
love, man. We about to do a slick little baby listening session.
Yeah.
Check out some of your music.
Okay.
But we up out of here, y'all.
We are. Y'all have a
I know that there's a lot of stuff that could be about me. A little of your time is all I'm asking for. I know that all this